Hello and welcome back to Eva's House of Spirit, brothers and sisters. I'm Eva, for those who are new to this channel or for those who are just passing through. And in this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about archetypes, masculine and feminine. I have some notes with me on my little clipboard. And, if I look away, forgive me, as I usually say when I have notes. So, over time I've noticed that there seems to be more of a focus given to the triad of the feminine life cycle, especially where Wiccan teachings are concerned. Yes, we do occasionally hear about the triad of the masculine life cycle, but the masculine triad doesn't seem to be written about, spoken about, taught, studied, or venerated nearly as much. So why do I think this is a problem? Well, it leaves things out of balance. Personally, I believe in polar balance. I believe that much like the yin-yang, there are both polarities in all things to varying degrees, and I believe the same holds true for people. My view is that all people are comprised of varying degrees of, for example, dark and light, active and passive, masculine and feminine, yin and yang sort of energies, and etc. Those kinds of energies. None of us are absolute in our makeup. There are varying degrees of each of the polarities in all of us. So that said, I also believe too that regardless what gender each of us may identify as, both polarities and archetypes have much to teach all of us. Think about it like this. Girls can learn a lot from their fathers, just as boys can learn a lot from their mothers and vice versa. So it doesn't matter, for example, that I'm a woman. It's not to say that I can't learn anything from the masculine archetypal triad. And the same holds true for a male. It's not to say that a male can't learn things also from the feminine archetypal triad. So that's why I think this is important, that we sort of acknowledge and focus upon both, that we teach both, study both, that we acknowledge both. So one thing I don't agree with is the labeling of the young male archetype as trickster. I've seen when it does come up, though it is not often, the masculine life cycle triad is often described as or called, the trickster, father, and sage. But I don't necessarily, the trickster part doesn't really jive with me. Sorry, my watch is going off. The trickster part doesn't necessarily jive with me. And the reason why is that while that term can apply, it's not always necessarily accurate. Instead, I think the term lad is far more of an appropriate term. I find this word to be more appropriate, like the term maiden, because, maiden can refer to a girl or a young woman in the feminine archetypal life cycle. And lad can refer to a boy or a young man where the masculine is concerned. As for my source, the source I'd like to cite, the Cambridge English Dictionary Online does verify this, that lad is a term referring to a boy or a young man, someone who is male but on the youthful side. It's also a rather endearing term. It's not a term I think that would be inappropriate. What else do I have to say? Furthermore, some of you might say, well, this is all well and good, but where the archetypal feminine life cycle triad is illustrated by the waxing, full, and waning moon phases, what do we see the masculine... Wait, what? How did I write that? I'm sorry. in what do we see the masculine archetypal triad equally represented? Well, logically, I would say that it is in the rising sun that we see the lad. It is in the sun at high noon that we see the father. And it is in the setting of the sun that we see the sage. Finally, I've noticed that the archetypal feminine triad has a very well-known and used symbol, but the archetypal masculine triad appears to lack one. So, I want to offer forward a symbol for the triple god that might provide more balance, in the acknowledgement of each of the triads, masculine and feminine. They should both have a symbol of equal sort of standing, I think. So, where this symbol is the symbol that we're all familiar with for the feminine archetypal triad, you have the maiden, the mother, the crone. My suggestion for the masculine archetypal triad would be this one. That would be the lad, the father, and the sage. The rising sun, the sun at high noon, and the setting sun. This symbol might not resonate with all of you, but it just really makes total sense to me. So that is why I'd like to put this forward. There might be some of you out there who might have thought about this, over time. You might have thought, excuse me, you might have thought to yourself, you're always seeing that symbol, this one here for the feminine archetypal triad, and you might have thought to yourself at certain points, why does the god not have a symbol like this? A lot of people just use the solar circle with the horns on the top, that symbol to represent the god, but I don't feel that really captures the masculine archetypal triad as accurately and as equally as this symbol does. So, feel free, if you choose to use this symbol in your work, in your study, in your practice. And I welcome all of you. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, suggestions, anything in regard to this that you'd like to share or bring forward, please do put those in the comments. I think this is something that more people, more magical and spiritual people, should really address, explore, discuss, acknowledge, because I think it could provide much benefit for all of us. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, though it's a little bit short. I'm going to wish you a wonderful day. I forgot if I said blessed be an ashe yet, but blessed be an ashe. And until next time, until our next exchange, you stay awesome, and bye-bye for now.